Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to our experiment, the 100-person project. I'm Bill Carell, and this is my investigation. This is a research project to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. The questions are fixed, and all the interviews will remain consistent, with a variable being the actual participants themselves. It's as if I'm having you come sit on my porch, Minna, to share your ideas so I can learn about people. We're looking forward to what we will discover when we're done with this whole thing. And we're also very interested in you, our participant. And well, let's go ahead and just dive right in. What's your full name?
It's Minna Reid.
That's cool. You have a very interesting maiden name too, right?
It is. That's why I kept my ex-husband's last name. Yeah, I was Minna Erika Javanainen before that.
And what nationality is that?
Finnish.
Finnish.
Born and raised there until I was about 10.
Cool. So what's your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
I don't really, I've never even had a nickname. I mean, if people can just get it right, that's usually good enough. I mean, they can't even get Minna. It's never gone beyond that to a nickname. Usually it's Mina or Mandy or Amanda or whatever. So
yeah,
we've never gone into nickname territory.
Yep, sisters, nothing like that, huh?
No, I mean, my mother calls me by my Finnish name, which just sounds a little different, but that's about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That way you always know in a room that they're talking to you.
Well, it could also be Manda or Mindy or Mary or God knows how many variations they can come up with for a seemingly simple sounding name. But yeah.
Minna or Minnow, right?
Right. Oh, that one too. I've heard that one a lot.
Yeah. Well, I was always Coral or Corral when I was growing up. So whatever.
Oh, at least they tried your last name.
They got a couple of the letters right. No doubt about it. So when did you first notice what color hair you had?
You know, I couldn't remember. I think the first time that I really noticed, I want to say it was my kindergarten picture, but it's possible I just can't remember beyond that.
Yeah. Probably not something you spend a lot of time worrying about, right?
No, I don't think anybody, how far back do you even remember, you know? Who's remembering 4 and 5? Do you?
You know, as I get older now, not as much as I used to. I used to have a very, very good recall. Yeah, I would remember stories, you know, from being 5, 4, 3 years old, and I even knew some things that were going on, and you know, was able to retain and process them from when I was 2 or 3. Not anymore, since you know, 2 bouts with coronavirus, and I have advanced CRS.
CRS?
Can't remember shit.
Oh yeah, I've had that for a long time.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so on to number 4. What is your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
Probably social media. I know it's a pure waste of my time, so I try not to do it, but yeah, that's my favorite time waster.
A guilty pleasure, huh?
Yeah, but it always proves disappointing. I probably need some new hobbies, to be honest.
That's interesting. And what kind of hobbies do you think you need?
Ones that get me more away from technology, like the scrolling. The scrolling is just a waste of my time, and I know it, but I keep doing it. I could be doing something better.
I agree with you. You know, a lot of things that get you outside would be very, very nice. And
yeah, well, I do go outside quite a bit. Actually, the beach. I probably spend as much time near the beach. No, maybe not as much as social media, but I'm out there all the time. That's my place.
Well, good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have a lot of beaches around where you are.
I do, yeah. Unfortunately, it's a little cold right now, so I haven't seen the beach since last week.
Oh, you poor thing. How are you holding up?
No, it's been horrible.
That's great. So, what is your favorite movie to watch alone, Minna?
You know, I'm not really into TV, but if I'm watching movies alone, it's probably like cheesy chick flick stuff, you know, that probably nobody else is going to be interested in watching with me.
Love Actually?
No, I don't think I go that far, but like Ginny and Georgia, the series and stuff like
Okay.
that. I don't really get into sappy stuff, but yeah, the chick flicks, I do those alone, which is rare. I don't really do TV too much.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's because you're
Yeah.
busy scrolling.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, this is my favorite question to ask you because we've been friends for a long time. If you were to have an action figure made of you, what superpower would it have, and what color or colors would its uniform be?
Oh, that was the easiest of them all. So I've always wanted to fly. So I think flying would be my thing. And it would have to be blue and white. It would be Finnish colors. That was like immediate. I immediately knew the answer to that. I didn't even have to think about it.
So that was an answer waiting for a question to appear in your life, right?
It was, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
in fact, it was like an awesome life.
Say a little more about it. I know the blue and white.
Well, I just like flying. I've always wanted to be able to fly. It just seems like the coolest thing to me. I'd rather have that power than anything else. I mean, I could go anywhere. I guess that's probably because I love to travel and see new things. But I love to just fly around. And then the blue and white, I guess I gotta throw some homage to Finland where I was born. I don't get to do that enough. So then I'd have to be the blue and white flying girl. Yeah.
And most people, it would still be an inside joke, right? Because they wouldn't necessarily associate those colors with Finland either.
No, but other Finns would.
Yes, they would.
Right.
You know all 60 of them, don't you?
No, there's actually like, I think there's close to 1 million Finns in the US. They're mostly in Minnesota and Lake Worth.
That's great.
I know.
Yeah, Minnesota. We always called that the land of the Johnsons.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm thinking of Wisconsin. It's one of those states up there by the Great Lakes where it's like the climate is similar, you know, with the heavy snow and endless winter.
And they have their populations are like 300 or 400. You know, the whole state.
I'm not sure what the population, but I think the whole population of Finland is only 3 million, so it really can't be a lot.
I know.
Of people. Right.
That's kind of a cool thing, really. I mean, you would have the opportunity in a small country like that. I mean, and its population are probably pretty dense around cities and stuff, but you have a lot of little.
There's really only one major city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the people there. I mean, really, Finland only became a real thing in like 100 years ago. So we were mostly fought over and stuck in this little area of time for like thousands of years. They don't even really know where the Finns come from.
Yeah.
There's some guesses. But it's a very homogenous country. I guess that's what I don't like about it. But, you know, everybody's in there for so long in this little space, so they kind of look the same. And it's very homogenous. I find it boring, to be honest. Yeah.
You're a lot happier where you are now, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never, like, move to Finland. But it's a nice place to visit in the summer, in that little stretch of summer.
And do you still have a lot of relatives over there?
No, my grandparents all passed away. Most recently, my last set died just a few months ago. So I don't really think I would have a reason to go. I haven't kept close enough in touch with my cousins to like want to go hang out at their house. I think the only reason I would go back actually is to probably bring my youngest son. He's never seen it. So outside of that, no, I don't really have enough connections to warrant going there.
Well, let's put a couple more brushstrokes on the flying part. Do you dream about flying?
I don't know. I don't know what I dream about. I sleep pretty heavily. Yeah. I just always wanted to fly. I don't know. I feel like I guess it has to do with traveling. Like, I feel like I've always been like, I don't know, like a gypsy almost. Actually, my grandmother is a gypsy. I just keep moving on. I'm always moving to a new place, going to see a new place. And that would be so much easier if I could simply fly, wouldn't it? We can skip all this drama and just go.
Yeah. Or if you could email yourself as an attachment, you know, that would probably be pretty cool.
Oh, right. That would be faster. That would be teleportation, right? Yeah, but then you don't get to do the flying. Doesn't the flying sound cool? It sounds super cool.
Well, you are flying. It's just at the speed of light, you know?
Yeah, I think I'd actually enjoy the actual flying.
On second thought, I agree with you. I think that there's just a whole coolness factor to it,
Right.
like I'm
Yeah.
freaking flying here,
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So we did good work on that one.
Hmm.
What did you want to grow up and be when you were 5 years old?
I want to be a dancer. I don't remember what exactly 5, but the earliest career I wanted to have was dancing. My mother put me in a jazz dance, and that was my life. And I knew I was going to become a jazz dancer.
Wow.
And I didn't. I failed completely
Yeah.
in doing that. Yep.
So did you have all of the cool jazz outfits to dance in and the hats and all that kind of neat stuff?
Well, we were kind of poor, so I didn't have a whole lot of stuff. I mean, I probably had one leotard, but I just really, really enjoyed the dancing. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it just completely resonated with me.
I can get that. Absolutely. Do you dance much anymore?
Only when I go out drinking or to weddings and stuff like that. Now I'll dance all the time, but I need a few drinks nowadays.
If all your friends are doing it, you're on board, right?
Yeah. Or if you just give me a few drinks and good music, I'll be the first one dancing. Yeah.
I'm going to salt that away.
Oh, yeah.
There may come a time. You just never
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Minna, what's your greatest accomplishment?
Uh, I think I got to roll back to my kids. I think that's going to be any parent's standard answer, to be honest. Like now that my boys, especially my older boys, are adults and I have a grandchild, like I realize what a really great job I did with those kids.
Yeah.
So I know it's a lame standard answer, but I think that's any parent's greatest accomplishment is bringing other good humans into the world.
Yeah. And stewarding them until they can stand on their own. And that, I would say you showed up over the last 20 years as somebody who really did that. I used to love all of your posts when I think your older son was like 12.
Well, he's 29 now, so I want to say I didn't get on. I probably got online on the Facebook when he was probably about 14 or something. That's when it became popular, late 2000s. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been posting about my kids. Yeah, I got great kid stories. I kind of miss them. Once they're gone, you realize, like if you go through your Facebook memories and I see those posts that I made about my kids, I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
miss those times when I read those. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I don't want any more kids like, full-time kids, and I would never sign up for a new child, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to
Well,
remember
so
back.
you've been through that, and then the next step is grandchildren. And
And freedom, I think. Freedom
yeah,
altogether. And I started having those kids so young that I never really had like a youth of my own. So I feel like this is my time. I have one part-time child. And so I have a lot of free time. I've never been free before. So I'm
yeah.
really finding it to be like the most exciting time of my life, to be honest.
Good for you. And I'll tell you what, you've had some exciting times in your life. There's no doubt about it. So this, I think, I really get that your need to have that freedom and be able to have choice in whatever you're going to do when you wake up today. And
Hmm.
you don't do things that don't make you happy, do you?
No, that's become, I guess, over the last 4 or 5 years, I just really changed and I started doing a lot of reading and I realized that I was never going to do anything that didn't make me feel good anymore. So if anything made me feel bad, I was getting away from it. It was being removed from my life. It was nothing that I was going to do. So I have a pretty good life. I really have a fun life. I don't waste
Yep.
my time, with a lot of people I don't want to hang out with or doing things I don't want to do. I don't have alarms. I don't have a schedule. Yeah. So maybe I really, really took that in a whole new direction. But I love it.
The coolest thing about that is I think more people should do that. I don't understand personally people that either are in a relationship complaining about their spouse or doing a job that they hate going to and all the rest. It's like, you know, you don't have to look very far to see who's in charge.
Yeah. Plus,
It
I feel like in the last couple of years, especially since the COVID years, I feel like a lot of people are waking up to this realization of what's really most important. And maybe it's not, the grind and the hustle and working hard and maybe having it later. I think there's more of a movement towards moving towards personal fulfillment at any age and not doing, not looking for the rat race. I think I've been seeing that more as a collective for the last few years. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've noticed it.
I've agreed. I'm 100%. I mean, we've seen 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds just walk off the job and not come back, like I've had enough. This isn't for me. And, I'll find something else. I'm pretty sure I will. So, and sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't.
No, but I think that all of us as consumers are inconvenienced by that. But I think that there's been so many decades of, I don't know, I don't want to call it brainwashing, but just social conditioning of you're going to go to work, you're going to get that degree, you're going to get that 9 to 5, you're going to grind away. And then at 65, you're finished. And I don't know, I think people are really just pushing back against that now. Even the young people, which, I kind of sometimes I feel like they're just lazy, but maybe they're catching on faster than we are. I don't know. I'm trying not to judge these people that don't want to work.
I'm with you. It'll be an interesting thing to be an observer for the next 15 years, and just kind of see how things sort themselves out.
Yeah.
So, with all of that said, who would you say is your favorite person to listen to?
Listen to. I'd have to say it's Abraham Hicks. That's what I started reading up on and listening to when I kind of just completely changed my life. And I still listen to it. Like if I'm having a hard time or something, it just kind of resets my thoughts. It just brings me back to the main concept of do what feels good. Your thoughts will manifest your reality. So yeah, I would say I'll still pull those up on YouTube or whatever and listen to it. It's very soothing and it just resets me.
And how frequently do you think you spend time engaged in that type of study?
Lately, I would say maybe a couple times a month. But it goes along with a lot of other things, just like meditating and stuff like that, which isn't listening to somebody. I guess it's listening to your thoughts, really. So maybe I'm my own favorite person to listen to, right?
Or whatever.
I do spend a lot of time just journaling and meditating. Yeah, I do that more than listening to Abraham Hicks. So yeah, so that makes me my favorite person to listen to. Yep.
Well, good on you, because wherever you go, there you are.
That's right. I'm carrying my best entertainer everywhere I go.
There you go. And your best audience too,
That's right.
Well done. Mm-hmm. All right. So complete this sentence. When I grow up, I'd like to.
I'm never growing up.
Petra Pan, right?
I just don't think that's just a fallacy. There is no growing up. There's no end. You know what I mean? There's not some magical place you're working towards. We're here for the journey. There is no growing up.
That's refreshing, because the only way you can enjoy your life 95% of the time is to realize that accomplishment is just something that happens, while you're going where you're going. And once you've accomplished it, so what? I mean, what's the big deal? You start getting addicted to that accomplishment thing, and then when you don't accomplish, you have a miserable life, and you're getting whatever. Right? So the journey, I like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get caught up in that end result, and it's really, you never reach it. Tomorrow never comes,
Yeah.
You're just here now.
This is all we get. And we're sure about this minute right now. This one we got.
Yep.
All right. So we've talked about a lot, but what would you say is the most important thing in life to you right now?
My time and my freedom, which are almost the same thing if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. That's all you really have is your time.
I'm still listening.
Yeah, I know. That's actually all I have to say about it. But really, that's all you have. You have the time. You have today. you have how you feel right now. Everything else just really doesn't exist.
I'm letting that sink in just a little bit.
Yeah.
That sounds quite cool to me. We haven't talked recently about this kind of stuff, but
No,
it's
I've
really
changed. I've changed a lot over the
yeah.
last few years. Yeah. But it's really led me to a really great place. I've never felt happier and more satisfied. And I
And
have less than I've ever had before. You know, I mean, I moved to Florida. I left everything that I had behind. I started new with nothing, and I've never been happier. Just following exactly what I feel like I want to do, and
that's
spending my time however I see fit, I guess.
well, I can get that because we started over with several homes in Florida, as
Yeah.
moved to the first one. There wasn't a stick of furniture in it, and we had to go out and get everything.
Hmm.
And it was kind of cool, to be intentional about what we brought into the space.
Yeah.
So it kind of was a reminder every day of, the great life that I'm waking up in. You get no chance to complain, Bill,
Yeah.
don't even go there.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
starting to collect a lot of stuff now, and it actually bothers me. Just all this stuff. Yeah.
I'm with you. That minimalist approach. I watch YouTube videos where they take absolutely everything out of their apartments. They've got bare floors. They repaint everything so that it's completely cool looking, refinish all the floors and all the rest of it, and then they just get naked and bop around, It's like, holy
Oh.
it's I would say that's a little offbeat for most of my neighbors. I don't think there's anybody in this particular part of the world that's doing much of that, but it's just refreshing to me to see what crazy critters are out there and how they're finding ways to express their life, Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we're in charge of our own everything, And I definitely see that you get that and that's what you're in the process of kind of figuring out for yourself on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think that doesn't happen till a certain point in life. I think it happens for everybody at some point.
Yeah.
You start to see it just in a different. Oh, I hope everybody reaches that point because it's a much better point to live in. But yeah, I think it's just maybe a middle age thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you kind of just realize what matters, and maybe those things you chased when you were younger really were not all that important. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are times, when I think about that kind of thinking, how ahead of his time Neil Young was with some of his lyrics, the old man song doesn't mean
The
that
what?
much. Yeah, one of the lyrics is doesn't mean that much to me to mean that much to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what a refreshing way to look at the world. Not taking anything away from you, but you got your life, I got mine, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So now that we've got all the hard work done, what would you like to leave in the world after your life is done?
I feel like I've already done it. Not only personally but professionally, I feel like I've spent my entire life like absorbing people's problems, and making them better, if that makes sense. Especially my clients. I've There's just like hundreds of people who have better lives because of my work, and I feel like I've kind of followed that in my personal life. I tend to be pretty non-judgmental, and people are always like dumping their stuff on me. But I just feel like I'm here for that. And whatever I'm giving them in return is helping them be better. So I feel like this is just what I'm here for. And I'm just going to continue it until I die, you know?
Yeah, and I don't hear any loss of power for that. I think you've developed great skills in being able to help people unload their stuff so they're not troubled by it. And you
Yeah,
just
plus everybody feels like their stories are so, I don't know, I feel like people feel really judged by their stories. And I feel like when they dump their stuff on me and they don't get that judgment, I don't know, I feel like I'm really doing something good for humanity individually, just being the way that I am.
you're at least setting a really, really good example for people. You know, take a chill pill and just don't worry about it, and let's get on with bigger and better things, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it kind of is that simple. Yeah.
So, if you go to a good bakery, you're going to get more than a dozen. You'll get that extra roll or the extra
Mhm.
donut or whatever it is. So here's your baker's question. What is the thing that most people misunderstand about you, Minna?
I think I come across as like I can come across very harsh. So I think most people just think I'm a really harsh, cold bitch. Um, and I've been working on how I come across, but I think that comes from it's a cultural thing. It's a Finnish thing. We're quite direct and not so expressive, like just direct. You ask me a question, there's not a sugar coated answer, there's just the answer.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are looking for that sugar coating to be around all the time. So when they don't get it from me, I just seem like a bitch. And there's a lot of people who think I'm just probably a horrible, mean person. And I don't really care about that, but I think the people that know me see that it's not about being mean, it's about being direct and honest. And I think the people that I'm close to understand that, appreciate it about me. And that's why they're in my life. So honestly, I'm starting to care less and less all the time about what anybody else thinks, to be
There
honest.
you go.
So I may
Yeah.
be working on it, but I'm probably going to continue to be a harsh, direct bitch.
Maybe just blunt, you know,
Yeah, we can call it blunt. We can call it whatever you want.
blunt force trauma.
Yeah, that's a
So
good one.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, some people go through life knocking walls down, and then the rest of the people are organized around them about cleaning the mess up, and somehow it all seems to work. But
Mhm.
in your case, I think you've had laser focus, in terms of exactly how you want to do the next thing and the next thing, the next thing. It seems to me for at least 15, 16 years.
Yeah, I've always been like that. Yeah, again, I'm pretty good at shutting off the noise because people doubt me. Oh, you shouldn't do it that way. But, I kind of, you're right. It's a laser focus. I'm pretty able to tune stuff out.
Yes, you are.
But
Well,
that's also why I come across harsh, I think. So, it's an asset and a negative issue as well.
and it's certainly not a deal killer for me. I've always loved you
Mhm. Oh,
from,
thanks.
from hello.
Likewise.
So that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, but I'm wondering what you're doing with this. Well, actually, I do. Yeah. What are you doing with these podcasts? Like, what's the goal? Where do they end up going? Like, just for the general readership or listenership? Or
All right, we'll take the first part of it. Why am I doing it? Because
yeah.
I don't think people are pre-designed carbon copies of each other. The way a lot of the social things that we're talking about conditioning or being very sensitive to particular kinds of groups, but you know in my experience, everybody's an individual. They all have different ways of processing the world, but they're not invalid, and they're not
Yeah.
invalid. Their way, is how we get this beautiful tapestry of all the different kinds of people that there are. So number one, I kind of had a notion that if you strip everything away, no matter who people are and no matter what their preferences in life are, there's going to be some humanness going on inside of them where I think everybody's beautiful at that level. So that was my hypothesis. So far, I'm getting to be proven right.
Oh yeah. How many have you done total?
I think you're number 24.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to keep going until we get 100.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool. I like now that you told me why you're doing it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The other thing is we're on every major podcast platform. So from Audible to Amazon, Apple, Spotify, pretty much you name one, we're there. And I have another podcast that's also called "Lighting the Candle: A World That Works." On that one, I think we're up to 130 or 140 episodes. I
Oh
started,
wow.
yeah, I started that one back when the Northwest was burning 2.5 years ago.
Oh
And
yeah.
all we could hear was every single day the peaceful protests and yada yada and all the rest of it.
Mhm.
I didn't want to hear about that stuff anymore, and I thought that people who were at home might be interested in a conversation about empowerment. Like, how do listen to your voice? And most of the time, those 80,000 thoughts we have on a daily basis are not necessarily our most inspired thinking, right?
Yeah.
And how do you transform a situation where you're feeling unpowerful, not well, upset, and then move into a new space where your life works because you have that kind of command over your next thing that you're going to do. And
Mhm.
people that are able to do that can accomplish just about anything they want to in their life, and they consider their life to be very
Yeah,
worth.
that's exactly what I was talking about, like the power of your thoughts and choosing your thoughts. Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally agree. Yep.
yeah. You don't have to listen to those notions. Uh, you don't have to listen to those notions as
Mhm.
if they have to be acted on or remembered.
Right.
And the whole idea of replacing bad thoughts with your own new authored good thoughts is very, very powerful.
You should listen to Abraham Hicks because this is exactly what I would listen to all this time. It's pretty
Yeah,
much the exact same thing, just choosing your thoughts.
yeah.
Once you choose your thoughts, you control your whole life.
I completely agree with you, and you can control the direction, but life's gonna give you what it's
Mhm.
gonna give you. And now let's see what
Exactly.
you're made of?
Yeah.
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 Well, I've had an amazing time with you, my friend. It's been
Yeah. Me too. This was fun.
and I hope you don't mind that we're, sharing our thoughts with a few close friends out there. We'll hopefully, something that we've said today will make a difference to somebody, and any, last parting thoughts that you may have?
No, just have a great day. Get outside. It's beautiful and sunny.
Yes.
Get away from that phone and step outside.
Minna Reid, thank you very much for being my guest here today. It has really made my week, and I appreciate you. And you at home, do me a favor, call somebody that you know and you love and let them know the world's a better place because they're here, okay?
All right.
And that's it for me for today, and thanks again.
All right. Talk to you later, Bill.